So why does a karmic relationship feel so intense? Why are you literally magnetized to this person if all they're going to do is show you your pattern, repeat old patterns, make you absolutely miserable and triggered? Well, there's actually a scientific reason why we feel so magnetized and excited and butterflies around this chaos. I was, as a child, grew up with a lot of emotional instability, and I didn't feel chosen. I didn't feel like my needs were met. I didn't feel like I could go to somebody when I was having a hard day and talk to anybody. I remember when I was 5 or 6 years old, getting off the school bus from a long day at school. I had been dealing with my teacher getting mad at me because I had learning disabilities. I didn't understand half of what was going on when what I was being taught, because again, I had learning disabilities that I wasn't really getting any help for. I was just expected to go to school every day and just figure it out. And so I had a lot of problems at school. I felt stupid. I was getting in trouble by my teacher. I had friend problems. I would ride a school bus where there were all these older kids sitting in the back of the school bus, and they would tease the younger kids. And I lived in a big house, and so the school bus would drop me off every single day in front of my big mansion. And the other kids on the school bus hated that. And so they would target me and tease me relentlessly and call me ugly and call me all these horrible things on the way home from school. And so when I would get home from school as this little 7, 8-year-old girl, I just needed somebody to talk to. I felt traumatized. I felt sad. My feelings were hurt. I was scared about how I was gonna get on top of my studies and not get in trouble by my teacher so much. And so I would come home and nobody would be there. My parent would be up in the room isolating because they were going through emotional issues that they didn't ever seek help for. And so I was emotionally abandoned. I remember going into my bathroom and sitting up on the counter of my bathroom because I was that small. I could literally sit crisscross applesauce on the bathroom counter, and I looked in the mirror and I just cried because I hated myself. I hated what a failure I felt like I was, and I was all alone. And so of course, as a child, you take it on yourself. You don't recognize what's actually happening to you. You don't recognize you have learning disabilities. You don't recognize that other kids are jealous on the school bus. You just think that it's you. You just think that you don't have any worth and value. And so I would cry in the mirror and look at myself and hate myself because I had nobody to be there for me. So 30 years later as an adult, I'm in a marriage where there's no emotional connection. It's completely devoid. And if anything, there's a lot of emotional instability in that I don't feel chosen. I don't feel like they ever want to be with me. I don't feel like they want to be intimate with me. I don't feel like there's any emotional intimacy. We don't talk about things. Anytime I try to bring up something and I try to talk to him and I try to bond with him, I'm told that I'm ridiculous and he's playing the devil's advocate and arguing with me. So I just learned to be quiet and deal with all the emotional things on my own because that's all I'd ever known. I knew that as a child, and so I just continued it into adulthood. Even worse, when I'm out of that marriage and now out in the dating field, I'm choosing partners who are leading double lives, who are hiding things from me, who aren't letting me in and showing me who they are. And when I'm coming to them for bids for connection and I'm saying, hey, I don't like that you leave me on red for 24 hours. I don't like it when you get mad at me for having emotions. Why can't we just have an emotionally, compatible relationship? Why can't I come to you? Why can't you be there when I need you, when I'm having a hard moment? Why do you turn on me and make me feel like I'm too much when I'm having a hard moment? Well, I'm repeating just how I felt as a child, that I was never chosen, that I was too much. I'm taking it on myself now. I'm blaming myself for ways that he's not showing up for me, for ways that he's having a double life. I'm telling myself I'm too much. I'm too needy. I'm too unhealed because that's what I did as a child to cope with it. I took it on myself. And then I would look around at my friendships and realize that when I wasn't there, they were talking bad about me. A lot of my friends were orchestrating really weird things behind the scenes because they felt threatened by me. So they were trying to triangulate other women in the friend group against me, to turn against me, to make me feel like I was outside of the tribe. Why would I be friends with people like that? Why did I continuously show up for people like that and do nice things for them when I knew that they were actively doing things behind my back to hurt me? Because I had bullies as a child on the school bus, literally making fun of me and teasing me and being awful. And I just had to sit there on the school bus and pretend like it was okay and get off the school bus and repeat it all the next day. So I was used to that. So This is a very long, drawn out topic to say that many times the things that feel like home, that feel familiar to us, the emotional dynamics, the relationship dynamics that feel most like home and familiar because it's what we've dealt with ever since we were a small child, we will gravitate to those because as much as they're harmful and they hurt us, they feel familiar. Being in the infinite unknown and not knowing what to expect is far more scary than being in a situation that is hurting you, but that you know you can delineate, you can decipher what the next move is going to be. It's like that quote, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. That's why we choose these same things over and over again. And so that's why when you meet a karmic, you meet somebody out that represents your pattern, that represents the old familiarity, not only is it going to feel safe to some extent, which is a paradox, but it will feel safer than the unknown. So you'll gravitate towards it. But on top of that, you have a small childlike need inside of you. You have an inner child in you. Your inner child never grows up. You still have that scared little inner child that was, in my case, emotionally abandoned by caregivers and left to my own devices to survive 8 hours at school with a learning disability and with bullies. And that little small child is still scared and also still excited. So when you meet a karmic, somebody that represents your old pattern or your old caregivers, you're going to want to try to get them to love you, because if you can get them to love you in some psychoanalytic way, you can prove to that small part of you that you're lovable. You're trying to fix, you're trying to heal the small part of you that felt unchosen, that felt like you were living in chaos, that just wanted peace, that just wanted somebody to show up for them and love them and be there for them. And so when you meet these karmics, you get excited because there's a small part of you that's like, maybe this will be the time that I get chosen. Maybe this will be the time that somebody that I love and look to will meet my needs. It activates a part of you, okay? That small part of you does need healing. It is a mirror to you, which is why karmic relationships are mirrors to us of our deepest wounds. They actually can be helpful if we utilize them in the right way. But we can basically, instead of looking to this other person outside of us to heal that small part of us, to finally choose us, we need to recognize that that's never going to happen. A, I don't know that that's necessarily their job. B, and C, this person is mirroring the people that hurt you in the most early vulnerable years of your life. They're not safe to be around. And then you go into the unknown, which is, as Joe Dispenza says, the infinite field of possibilities, and you are alone for a while. And then you tend to yourself. And it's the unknown because you've never done it before. But as you go solo and you cut off these people that represent your pattern, that are not safe for you, that the little girl in you or the little boy keeps on attracting because you're used to it. Cut these people off and be alone, and then you tend to yourself. You heal your inner child. And when you do that, baby, it is the catalyst for your greatest life. That's when you meet your divine counterpart. That's when you manifest instantaneously. That's when you accomplish your dreams and you get the life of your choosing. Everything you could ever want is on the other side of your healing. Let your karmic relationship, that buzz, that excitement, those butterflies you get at the beginning, let them be pointers to where you need to go deeper and do deeper inner work so that you can get on the other side of this relationship pattern that you keep on repeating and invest in yourself and manifest the life of your dreams. And I spell all this out in my book, Divine Union in 14 Days. It is not necessarily about calling in your divine counterpart, although that is an amazing reward at the end of it all. It is the self-healing journey. It is going within. It is tending to that small inner child. It is tending to yourself and being your own hero, being the one that you've been waiting for, that you've been looking outside of yourself for other people to show up for. It is you showing up for you, and then everything you could ever want is on the other side of that process.